If you're a Christian single woman waiting for the man God has for her, here are 4 things that often need to happen before you will know who this man is. Also, did you know that I have a weekly email list? And right now, if you join this email list, I'm giving a free copy of my book called The One in PDF format. Over the years, 75,000 people have actually joined this email list, which is just crazy. So if you want to receive those weekly emails from me and you want helpful content, letting you know when the articles and videos are posted, then I encourage you to join the list and get a free copy of this book. Number 1, before God reveals your future husband to you, oftentimes he first needs to dismantle any false beliefs about godly men you may have. As A.W. Tozer famously said, your beliefs about God are the most important things about you. Why is that true? Well, it's because our beliefs shape our actions. And our beliefs about God are the most important beliefs we can have, which will then shape our most important actions. A wrong belief is like having a wrong map. If you were traveling through Cleveland, but you had a map of Philadelphia, no amount of behavior modification would help you. Likewise, if you have false beliefs about godly men, it doesn't matter what practical tips or techniques you know, you're always going to be headed down the wrong path. For example, do you believe men would pursue you regardless of how much you invite them to pursue? That will push good men away. They are humans too. Yes, they should pursue, but they also want to feel wanted. If you don't express interest, they will never keep pursuing you once they risk rejection and then feel your coldness. That's just one little example. The possibilities of false beliefs are endless. So God will lovingly put you through a painful season of exposing some false beliefs so that you can have the right map. You can have the right way towards responding and interacting with godly men. Number 2, before God reveals your future husband to you, oftentimes he first needs to help you accept that you're not yet the type of woman this man could partner with. If I was talking to men, I would say the same exact thing to them. I would say the same exact thing to myself. We all need to examine ourselves to see if there's an alignment in what we want versus what that would require. Sometimes our own standards are not even being achieved by us. This is one of the reasons Jesus said, "For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." In other words, he was telling us to be careful in what standards we use. Sometimes this means that we need to lessen our standards because they're unachievable for anyone. At other times, this means that we need to keep those standards, but take a hard look in the mirror and say, am I living up to this? So it's wise to always ask yourself, whatever I want in a man, would that type of man want the type of woman that I am? So do you want a good provider, for example? Well, a good provider is going to want a good manager of money. Do you want a man who can lead in the church? Well, that type of man is going to want to partner with someone who can also serve well in ministry. As Stephen Covey said in his famous book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, what we are communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or do. We all know it. There are some people we trust absolutely because we know their character, whether they're eloquent or not, whether they have human relationship techniques or not. We trust them, and we work successfully with them. As Emerson once put it, "What you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say." None of us are perfect, and we can usually be our own harshest critic. So take what I'm saying in context. I'm not saying beat yourself up and assume you're single and don't have the godly man you want because you're the problem. I'm just saying that it's a possibility that there's something in you that could assist you in increasing the speed at which you meet this man. Number 3, before God reveals your future husband to you, oftentimes he will require that you let go of a man who's not your future husband. The stronger a desire is, the more likely it is that we might be tempted to try to satisfy this desire in an unhealthy way. It's kind of like being hungry. You aren't going to eat a bag of chips after you just ate a full, well-balanced dinner that satisfied your hunger. However, if you haven't eaten anything all day and now you're starving, you might then break down and devour those chips like a little savage. The point is, if God has called you to marriage, that's going to mean there's a strong desire in you that wants marriage very badly. And that's not a bad thing. That's just the facts. And we need to be careful that that strong desire, our feelings, don't override our logic and our mind and tempt us into forcing relationships with people that are obviously not biblical. As 1 Peter 5:8 warns, be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. If you find yourself in a situation like this, with a guy you know does not have the qualities that a godly husband should have, and you're playing mind games, maybe he'll change. Maybe God put me in his life to help him become a Christian. And you're doing all of these things to force your desires to happen in a way that's just not what God actually wants. One helpful thing you can do is take a step back and remember what you actually want. You don't just want to get married. You can get married to anybody. There's all kinds of people out there getting married who aren't doing it God's way. That's not what you want. You want to be married to a godly man who loves Jesus and then you can partner with in loving the Lord. So to receive that, sometimes you have to let go of what you're clinging to that is getting in the way. And number 4, before God reveals your future husband to you, oftentimes he first needs to teach you how to forgive and move forward even after you've been really hurt. Pain is a part of life. And God doesn't solve this problem through avoidance. Rather, God solves the problem of pain when it comes to human relationships through grace and forgiveness. Through forgiveness, we're not only setting someone else free, we're also setting ourselves free. This is one of the main messages taught through Jesus' parable about the unmerciful servant. The master forgave the servant much, but then the servant could not forgive others. Thus, the servant lost the freedom he was given. Not forgiving others causes us to lose our freedom. Thus, to be in a healthy relationship with a godly man one day, you have to learn forgiveness and grace. And that's true for at least 2 reasons. First off, this man is not going to be perfect, and you're not going to be perfect, and we all need to forgive each other when we make mistakes. Otherwise, the relationships always fizzle out. The only way to have a long-term healthy relationship is to have forgiveness and grace, because problems will happen. The second reason you need to know how to forgive and offer grace is because when we don't forgive people in our past, we always carry those wounds with us. Those hurts don't just go away. And what we do is we end up projecting that onto people who have nothing to do with those hurts. And so you might be fearful because you got hurt in the past by a man that you haven't forgiven. And now you're going to be super guarded towards guys who you should be more open to. By forgiving those men, you'll be in a much healthier state to trust a guy who deserves your trust. And again, I'm giving this book away for free in a PDF format for everyone who joins my email list. Click the link in the description of this video. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. Until next time, God bless.